How to be present in the moment. I know I'm always trying to tweak and improve how I am present with others and how I am showing up in this world. In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 ways that will help you live more in the moment, live more in the present, and harness that calm and mindfulness to improve your everyday life. If there are 2 things that you get out of this video today, let them be this. If you forget everything else, let it be this. Number 1, being present equals being calm. The more present you are, the more calm you are. And the more present you are, the more you have calm to be a mindful person, and it'll ripple into every aspect of your life. And number 2, remember that being present is a state of time. So that is in the here and now. So when we find ourselves jumping to the future or falling back into the past, we have to remember to come back to the present. And I will share ideas on how to do that in this video. There are so many benefits of getting stronger in being present in your life with others and with yourself. So if being present equals more calm, that's more mindfulness in your life. And when you're more calm and more grounded in your actions and your thoughts, that ripples out to everybody around you. So if you are being more present, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your partner are going to be more present back, and they're going to reflect that back to you. So in you being that way, you are benefiting everyone around you by helping them also amp up that beautiful energy. So when we are more calm and we are more mindful, that helps lower our stress levels. It helps lower anxiety. And that in turn helps us breathe better, breathe deeper. Really get into that. It's going to help our hearts. It's going to help our lungs. It's going to help all of our body functions. It's going to help our interactions with others. If we are more present with our loved ones, our family members, our partners, we are going to have more connected conversations. We are going to have more connected encounters. We are going to also have more connected encounters with ourselves, sinking into a book, really watching a movie and remembering all parts of it, or a concert, or being at an event with someone and truly being present with them. There are so many benefits to this that will just slow your life down, calm your life down, and help you be present in all moments of your life. But like going to the gym or starting a new exercise routine, this is something that doesn't come overnight. It's something that is like a muscle that gets stronger with time. So I'm going to share with you 8 different ways that I incorporate being more present into my life. And just think about doing little tweaks in your life and bringing them in slowly. Or as what I like to do, if I catch myself doing something, lovingly nudging my way back, lovingly bringing myself back into a conversation, into an activity with mindfulness and being present. Number 1, ask yourself where in time you are. Are you in the present, or are you continuously falling to the past or jumping to the future? When we worry, that's a lot of times going to the past because we're remembering maybe something somebody said, something that happened, something somebody did that affected our world. So when we worry, a lot of times that's the past. But it could also be worry into the future of the what ifs. What if this happens? Well, it's today. It hasn't happened yet. It may never happen. So we're anxious and worried about something in the future that hasn't happened and may never happen. So if you find yourself going into stress or worry or being anxious about the future, or even feeling things, so it might be a knot in the stomach of worry, a pang in your throat, or a tightness in your chest, ask yourself, am I going to the past and remembering things and it's stirring up reactions in my body? Am I going to the future and it's creating things, creating anxiety for something that hasn't happened and may never happen? So check yourself with both what happens in your mind and what is happening in your body to see what state you are, and just lovingly bring yourself back. We all do it. Just bring yourself back to the present. And if you've had any trauma in your past, this is something that has helped me a lot. I had a lot go on in the last 10 years with a lot of things in my life, a lot of traumatic things. And somebody said this and it really resonated with me, because I would find myself going back to this painful loop of a lot of things that happened and bringing that into the present. And they said, what if we didn't remember our past? What if today is just we started from today? Would we still have that old energy and those old stories to go back to, or would we go forward from today? That's not to negate anything that's ever happened to us, but it's just to give us a loving nudge to go, how can I look at this differently? How can I interpret my feelings differently and move forward with more power and more grace and more love to help myself and thus help others? Our second how to be present muscle to tweak is in conversations. So I have been guilty of this, and this is something that I work on all the time. How many of you jump ahead in conversation? So somebody's saying something really interesting and you stop concentrating on what they're saying. You stop listening to their story because you're already formulating your story back to them that is similar because it tweaks something in your brain, and you're getting ready for your interjection. I've done that. I still do that, but I try to catch myself. So instead of wanting to interrupt and interject, I stop myself and I realize I have jumped ahead to the future. If I am already planning what I'm going to say, that is jumping to the future. So I might even take my hands and sit on them because we're like this, right? We're ready to jump in. So I take my body language and I sit back, and I take my hands and I sit back and I listen. So when we move back, we're absorbing, and when we're doing this, we are projecting, right? So I listen and I wait. And you know what? Maybe this story is going on for 10 or 15 more minutes, and I was ready to interject 3 minutes in and the whole story would have been gone. And maybe it's something that I end up laughing my head off at the end, and I'm so glad that it played out like it did. And it lets that person have full expression. And when we let someone sit in that full expression, we're going to have a more mindful interaction with them. They're going to feel listened to. They're going to feel seen. They are going to be listened to. They are going to be seen. So that's going to reflect back into them being more present for your conversation. So try that and keep tweaking that muscle when it happens, and don't interject in a conversation. Just wait. Hold that thought for a few more minutes. Number 3, are you a purposeful multitasker? Or you, like me sometimes, a terrible multitasker? So I'll tell you when you are multitasking well. So that might look like, if I vacuum my house and blare some music and dance while I'm vacuuming. That to me is perfectly okay multitasking. Or if you are on your way to work and you're on a bus and you put some affirmations or a meditation or some calming music in your ears while the world's buzzing around you. That is a good way to multitask and get to work. Or you might be driving in the car on a long drive or going to work or carpooling, and you put on a podcast. You're doing 2 things at once, but that's calming. That's good. So those are good examples of good multitasking. Now, multitasking gone wrong and not being in the moment and being present would be something that I did recently, and I had to have a conversation with myself. I had the TV on, I had my laptop doing work on my lap, and I had my cell phone. I was texting somebody while also Googling on my phone. So 4 things going on at once. Do you think I'd remember much of the TV show? Do you think I got much work done? And do you think I was very present with the person I was texting and also Googling at the same time? That's enough to fry your brain. So imagine if that person wasn't someone I was texting, and imagine that was my partner at the other end of the couch. How connected would that conversation be with that person? How much would I remember from that conversation, from the TV show, from the work I was doing? And what kind of soulful work would I be doing if I'm doing videos like this? What energy would I be infusing into that? So I had to check myself and said, you need to put some of this aside. And that's fine. We are building our muscles here. We are flexing our muscles. So when we catch ourselves doing things, we're not perfect. Just scale back and do it differently. And this could also look like multitasking could be scrolling on your phone every single breakfast or every single lunch. Think about that. Sometimes it's fine, like depending on where you're eating. But if you're at the breakfast table doing it 365 days a year and it's a habit versus something that you enjoy, think about it differently and do things differently. And ask yourself, am I doing this because it's a habit, or is it helping my life, or is it hurting my life? Number 4 follows number 3, and that is this: take a tech time out. So I always ask myself, are you capturing a moment with your cell phone, or are you actually living in it in the present moment? A lot of times if I'm on it too much, I'll say, no, I'm capturing it and I'm not here. And I'll put the phone down and really be in the moment. So think of a concert. Now I go to a concert, I snap a few pictures, a little bit of video, and I put my phone away. And I find that I remember all the nuances of the concert. I remember the sets. I remember the sequence of the songs much stronger when I'm in the moment versus trying to capture it. So this could also apply to, as I said earlier, are you mindlessly scrolling at lunch or at breakfast and it's become a habit? Has tech become a habit for you? Try to change that habit and don't do it all the time, or realize I need to do this differently. When you get together with family and friends for dinner, make a pact that you're all going to leave your cell phones either in your purses if you're in a restaurant, in another room, in your bedrooms when you're at home having dinner. Get that connection with people and realize that when you're trying to capture a moment, say let's go back to a concert, you're trying to capture that moment, you're automatically thinking, I'm going to share this in the future on social media. So when you're already thinking of sharing it later, that means you're jumping to the future and not in the present. So stay in the present when you find yourself with tech, either numbing out or jumping to the future on how you're going to share things. Number 5 is move mindfully. So moving mindfully helps ground us in the present moment. It helps us breathe better. It helps us be calm. It helps us be more present. So something like yoga, qigong, Pilates, even jogging when you're getting into that rhythm of the breathing and your pace. Things like this help us move mindfully, not just in maybe the hour that we're doing it. It goes through our mind, body, and soul, and then it carries out into other things we are doing. So if you go for meditative walks and you're looking at nature, that's moving mindfully. Somebody might say, well, if I only do yoga a couple times a week, how's that going to help me be more present outside of that? Well, that's like exercising your mindfulness, exercising your ability to be present. The more you can tune into feeling calm, mind, body, and soul, and being present and being grounded and having yourself rooted in an action or in the floor or on a mat or with the trees if you're jogging or walking, the more that will translate into other aspects of your life. So the more you can move mindfully, the more that's going to then integrate into a conversation that's going to allow you to be present, or going somewhere else and saying, oh, I'm going to take a tech time out right now. It's going to carry on into the other aspects of your life, and it's going to help you be present in all aspects of your life. Number 6 is adding meditative moments into your day, into your life, into your world. Now, meditative moments are those moments that we create calm, and that calm equals being present. So these might be listening to affirmations or meditations. It might be listening to crystal bowls or a recording of rain falling or crickets. It might be doing something like crochet or painting, where you're quietly into the action of doing something and your mind, body, and soul are all working together. And like movement before, if you're doing something little like 15 minutes today or 15 minutes here and here, that will translate into the rest of your life, because the more calm you bring in, the more you bring into being present in conversations with your loved ones, with everybody else. So think about even taking your shoes and socks off and grounding yourself in nice, cool grass, or lying down and looking up at cloud formations and just getting lost in that, or dipping your toes in the lake, or feeling your feet grounded on nice warm sand. What are different things that you can do that are meditative moments, that are small breaks in your day, that bring you calm, mind, body, and soul, that bring you into the present? Number 7 on the list is journaling. I've shared a video here before on how to create your own gratitude journal, and there are lots of great gratitude journals out there. Journaling is something that I really believe in because it just brings such meditative peacefulness into my life, and it brings those meditative breaks that I talked about earlier into my world and helps me be more present in the moment, and then take that energy out into moments with my friends and family members and with interactions that I have on my own with the world as well. There are so many. There are gratitude journals, there are discovery journals, but there's something just beautiful of having the thought go from your mind to your heart, through your hand into a pen onto paper, versus, putting notes in a phone or typing on a computer. There's something beautiful there. And I recently did a timed writing at an event I was at, which I hadn't done one in a long time. I'm like, I need to get back to this because it's this free flowing of energy. It's getting ideas out of your head and getting you to come up with things that were buried in there that you're like, oh, that needs to come see the world. That's juicy. That needs to get out there. So when you're journaling, you really are bringing clarity to your thoughts and emotions. And you come up with things on paper that you don't realize that you were holding on to. And it just creates a freer space, mind, body, and soul. So this is something I'm going to delve into more on this channel, is journaling, because it really means a lot in my world. So yeah, delve into journaling, because the more present you can be with yourself in your own company, the more present you can be with others in the real world, so to speak. And last but not least, number 8, tune into your senses. Nothing connects us more to the here and now than our senses. They bring us to, oh, this is happening now. I am here. I am present. So if you ever find yourself wandering off into the future or into the past, connect with one of these 5 senses, or whatever senses apply to you in your world. The first sense is taste. Be more present with your meal. Chew more slowly. I know this is something I need to work on, but chew more slowly. Notice the texture of something you're eating. Taste it instead of mindfully scrolling through your cell phone and realizing that you just ate a meal and you don't really remember what it tasted like or how it felt in your mouth. Taste a drink. Taste the different layers of things. Try to concentrate on tasting versus doing multitude of things at the same time, and see how that sensory experience changes your feeling and being present. Our sense of touch is so important. Take off your shoes and socks and walk through cool grass, or dip your feet in the lake. Touch a tree, run your hand along the bark or feel the leaves. Hug a tree even. When was the last time you hugged a tree? Or buy fabric of a hoodie that's super soft and really feel that comfort on you, or a really nice blanket. Really be in the present moment of how that's a sensory feeling for you. Or maybe the next time you hug a loved one and they have on their hoodie, really sink into that hug and feel the comfortable, robe they're wearing, or the comfy hoodie or the nice sweater they're wearing, and really sink into that moment, sink into that touch, that feeling of touch. Another sense is our sense of sight. Really amplify what you're seeing. Is it a sunset? Is it a sunrise? Really linger and appreciate that. Take the time to look up in a tree and look at a bird, or watch the leaves rustling in the wind, or look up at the clouds. Maybe go a different way to work. That might be 5 to 10 minutes out of your way, but it's more scenic, it's more beautiful, it's different. What can you tweak in your daily life that will bring in more sights, that will fill your soul and allow you to appreciate the present moment? So if you think of the sunset as a sunset, or can you think of it as, I'm going to go watch this beautiful TV show and it's a sunset. I'm going to go look at this beautiful art piece and it's a sunset. You can also look at beautiful art pieces and a great TV show, but think about those things as a TV show. You'd spend a good 45 minutes or an hour watching it. Take that time for a sunset. Take that time to look at clouds. Think about the time you take with tech and shift it and say, how can I use this differently? Our sense of smell. I always say stop to smell the flowers. The lilacs in Toronto this month have been so fragrant and so beautiful. So I find myself walking down the street and smelling each and every tree, dark purples, light purples, pinks, whites. Really inhale, smell that. Make it a point to always stop to smell the flowers. One of my favorite smells to this day is dill, because it reminds me of my grandmother's garden. What are the aromas that you're putting in cooking? Can you add something different in your house? What can you change so you have a sensory experience that brings you into the moment? So if I'm diffusing a beautiful lemony scent in my living room, I am in my living room enjoying it in the here and now. I'm not falling to the past, and I'm not jumping to the future. And last but not least, your sense of hearing. As I said earlier, you can get a lot of recordings online, but in nature, you can find beautiful things depending on where you live. The rustle of trees, the wind in the trees, birds chirping, children giggling in a schoolyard, all kinds of things. Even something like an air conditioning hum. When you fall into the noise, it can be very relaxing. What is in your world that you can listen to, that you can be in the here and now? And again, you can listen to affirmations and meditations and crystal bowls and the sound of rain or the sound of lightning and thunder, if that doesn't scare you. What can you tune into more that brings you to the here and now and relaxes you mind, body, and soul? I hope after watching this video, you now have different ways to feel calm and grounded and present in your energy and the energy of others. Just remember, we are all a work in progress every day of our lives. So when we find ourselves jumping to the future or falling to the past, lovingly just let's bring ourselves back. And let's just know that every day we're doing soul homework and we're getting to be bigger and better versions of ourselves. And we're just a beautiful work in progress. I have left links to some resources below. You can find my affirmations on several platforms and my journals, and also any videos that I may have mentioned things in here. I'll put some links below to give you more tools for your toolbox. So until next time, I will see you soon.